Within every story that exists and every TV show and movie out there, there's always the protagonist. Protagonist is usually the main character of a story. They have the most key decisions within a plot, and they are often ones who face the most significant obstacles. Some stories may have multiple protagonists if a story decides to branch off into certain subplots, which may contain several smaller stories. Then there's the antagonist. The antagonist is usually the opponent, a competitor, a villain, an enemy, or a rival of the protagonist. An antagonist doesn't always have to be a villain or someone evil. They can also be someone who's good or someone who's more favorable to the audience. In some cases, the protagonist could be the villain and the antagonist can be the hero. Although another certain antagonist that is out there is the one that audiences hate. And a character that fits this description the absolute most is Calliou. Now, I've talked about Calliou in my other videos, but only very briefly. And while he may be the protagonist of his own show, he is the antagonist of the audience. The reason why Calliou was hated so much was because he would exhibit behaviors of, well, a toddler, which most people would kind of consider normal. But when he starts to whine, complain, and having this kind of bratty attitude, it's kind of hard to like him. And when you throw that in with his temper tantrums, he becomes one of the most hated characters out there. Parents have complained about Calliou because their children will exhibit the same behaviors he did. And I think they were right to be concerned, because this kid turned around and bit his sister. Like, seriously. But it's crazy after all that backlash that they decided to reboot Calliou twice! Like, we do not need to see him in another animation format. And my issue with Calliou doesn't really stem from the things that he does. It's the factor that he rarely ever gets disciplined for it. I mean, most kids his age actually do the things that he does, but most times they're taught a lesson or they're disciplined for it. Calliou's parents just let him run amok and not have any accountability for his actions. I also had a small theory that Calliou had cancer, and that's the reason why he got away with so many things that he did. But if I were to say that, it would be an insult to cancer patients everywhere. So I'll just stick to the status quo and say he's just a brat. But aside from all that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.